Good evening, everyone. I hope you're suitably lubricated and, or I was going to say drinking beer, but there's too many kids in the audience to be saying that's a sensible thing, so I'll just pretend I didn't say that. I'm Alok Jha. I'm one of the science correspondents at the Guardian newspaper, and we did the Synthetic Biology Smackdown, Daisy and I, who Daisy's over here, a year or so ago at the Royal Institution in London, and Daisy thought it would be a good idea to transport this format, this amazing format of discussing scientific things over to Dublin. This is the second time, therefore, we've done it, and therefore you'd assume all the problems have been ironed out. It's going to be an amazing, smooth affair, but basically neither of us can remember exactly how we did it last time, so we're going to be making it up as we go along, but I think you won't see any of the joins. That's the magic of professionalism right here. Anyway, you're all welcome. You're here because, you know, I suppose you're interested in synthetic biology, science, that kind of thing. But tonight is that all of that really takes a back seat, to be honest. Think of this as the X factor of the scientific world. You've got to really grill these scientists, not about science. It's got to be about things that you're interested in, whether something is important to you or not. Here's what the format of the evening is going to be. Each of these marvelous scientists here have come up with an organism that they've designed. Something that is possible through the magic of synthetic biology. And what we're going to do, they're going to present these organisms to you, whether they're useful, whether they're dangerous, whatever, and then we're going to score them. There's 4 scoring categories. Where are they? They're over there. I don't know if you can read them. The scoring categories are that what is the purpose for designing this organism out of 10? Is it a good purpose, bad purpose, whatever? The likelihood that this organism might actually ever exist. We're going to score it on the benefit this organism is going to have for society. And we're going to score it also on the likelihood that this organism could, in fact, destroy the universe. That's important. Then there's going to be a final score that you are all going to have. You will have the sort of the swing vote, if you like. Once we've scored all the other things and given them their sort of top trumps, if you will. Does anyone here remember top trumps? Has anyone played top trumps? You remember top trumps? The idea is that you have I don't know, superhero, and there's 4 or 5 categories where you score them on, you know, their height and how many bricks they can punch through or something, and then you play depending on, you know, on these particular characteristics. It's the same thing. We're creating top trumps cards for each of these organisms. That's what we're here to do. And then the winner is the one in our rules who gets the most scores, who gets the most points. And the final one is going to be you scoring whether you think this is a good or a bad thing or not. All the way through, I'm hoping you're going to ask questions about challenging some of the claims these guys are making. Maybe asking them to think in directions they've not thought. That's what we want. You know, it's all very well to ask how the science works and everything. That's great. We can do that as well. But really, you know, when they claim that this is going to be the savior of the universe, or it's going to do the best thing you've ever seen in your life, well, you know, how? Prove it. We need you to be passionate about this. And then at the end, we're going to get you to vote for each one. And we need you essentially, in a very scientific way, we're going to do that with a loudness scale. So let's practice this. A 0 is... Very good. That's very good. Just don't make a move, basically. Now, imagine you're giving them a 5 out of 10. It's sort of you're mildly thinking this is good. It's average, essentially. It's not amazing, but it's not terribly there. Give me a 5, roughly speaking. And remember, this is what you've got to do when you do a 5. Think 5 and give me a round of applause for a 5. That's a bit lackluster, honestly. But if that's what you want to do for a 5, just remember that. Don't start changing it now. Just do the 5 one more time. Very good. Judges, please remember that's a 5. Okay. And 10 is really like insane. Now, we're talking so insane. We're talking, this is crazy. You can't think of anything more important than this. So you've got to give it everything and probably scare people downstairs in the cafe who are probably just sitting there relaxing. So after 3, 2, 1. 5, 10. Thank you. Right, good. Well, there's your calibration. We've your calibrated judges. The judges, by the way, Claire O'Connell, in my extreme left there, a top journalist here in Dublin, and Daisy Ginsberg, who is the curator of everything you've seen out there, the exhibition, all of this is down to her. She will now tell us all, just for 5 minutes, with 12 slides, what synthetic biology is, and then we'll start with the actual competition. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I don't think this is a very usual occurrence for me to be the one explaining synthetic biology as the artist in the room, but I would like, first of all, to take a show of hands. Who knows what synthetic biology is? Okay, this is good. We're good. This is good. Okay, so you won't know that I'm giving you the artist version of synthetic biology. So, this is a plate of bacteria covered in genetically modified bacteria that have been engineered to go dark when they're exposed to light, like photographic film. So Hello World is a kind of science joke for the programmers out here. The first program you might learn when you start doing computer programming. Instead, these biology students decided to engineer bacteria to be photographic film. And as hopefully we will see this evening, every biological project needs a good name. This one they called E. coloid. So this is the beginnings of synthetic biology. Yeah, I'm glad someone laughed at that. So synthetic biology, what is synthetic biology? Well, let's go back a step. What is genetic engineering? If we took a fish, this is a flounder, I think a North Sea flounder, and any fish experts in the room, this is your moment to heckle me. You could perhaps take a gene from a flounder and put it into a tomato, or more precisely an antifreeze gene from a fish, put it into a tomato, make that tomato resistant to the cold. That's genetic engineering. It's all very nice. Cold-resistant tomatoes, what we all want. Synthetic biologists looked at this in around sort of 1999, 2000, or actually engineers who were looking at biology and saying, well, that's not a very efficient way to do stuff. We're engineers. We could do this properly. If we did this properly, we could put this gene from a fish into bacteria or mice. I'm now speculating. I don't think there are any cold-resistant mice. But the idea behind synthetic biology is that you could turn biology effectively into a design discipline. Now that's my take on it as a designer. What I was interested in when I first became aware of synthetic biology was that this idea was that you could engineer biology. That if genetic engineering was more of a bespoke one-off solution, well, we'll take this gene from a fish and put it into a tomato. Synthetic biologists are engineers and they want to do stuff like this. Standardization, the idea that screws drove the Industrial Revolution, or more precisely, the idea that a group of people agreed on how a screw, what a standard for it should be, so that one person could make the screws and the other people could make the other bits of the machines, and everyone could sort of diversify their industry. So this is what synthetic biology is about. It's about genetic engineering, but about taking it to another level. That you could have processes like abstraction. I'm using a computer. I don't have a clue how it works, but I'm still able to use it. That's the idea of black boxing or decoupling, the idea that you won't need to know exactly how the thing you're designing works to be able to design with biology. So how do they do this? Well, the magic of synthetic biology, as we will discover this evening, is driven by something called DNA, which hopefully everyone in the room is aware of. This is the code of life. Now I'm using bunny ears because there's lots of debate around all these ideas. The fact that DNA is the only thing that decides how biology works is not necessarily true. But in synthetic biology, the idea is this is how we're going to engineer biology. So you could get a sequence of DNA, say a sequence that maybe says, well, bacteria will go dark when they're exposed to light. The idea you could then take that whole thing is quite a complicated series of constructs, but each part of that is a code of DNA that could then be put into a part. So then you could have parts which are made of DNA, but you don't need to know what the exact sequence of DNA is. You can then build devices like a logic gate like you have in computing out of different biological parts. Then you don't need to know what the parts are anymore or the DNA that's encoding them. Then you could build whole systems like if it's dark, make it go light, for example. So it's drawing on the language of computing. And in the end, you'd have applications like bacteria that go dark when they're exposed to light. So this is all very nice. Engineers are going to save the world by making plates of bacteria go dark when they're exposed to light. What is actually the purpose of synthetic biology? Well, the scientists, and we're going to hear some big claims from these scientists this evening, I think. Scientists and engineers and the supporters of synthetic biology around the world are saying stuff like this. Synthetic biology offers new hope for malaria victims, or the Michelin man goes green, and they're putting a lot of money into this. Like Exxon, this is a couple of years ago, put $600 million into biofuels made from algae. The idea is that we could have energy and medicines and new food sources and save the world through synthetic biology. I'm obviously giving you the sales pitch, but these guys are going to give you the big sales pitch this evening. Because there's also a darker side to it, which is what I find interesting as an artist, not only whether this is possible to make synthetic biology do these things, or even to engineer biology at all. Questions like this, DARPA, which is the American Defense Research Agency, is actually investing $30 million in synthetic biology back in 2011. And even NASA is getting on the boat. So soon we're going to be sending astronauts off to space to eat space food made from GM foods, but also maybe even the astronauts themselves will be benefiting from synthetic biology. Their own bacteria in their bodies could be engineered. This raises a lot of questions, I think, which is why we've done a whole show about it. But to finish, what does synthetic biology actually look like? Well, at the moment, it's like this. It's just vats of goop. So hopefully these scientists this evening are going to show us a brave new future of what we as a group should be investing in, or maybe not. So that is the discussion for this evening, and that was 6 minutes and 16 slides. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give me a 0. Give me a 5. Very good. And a 10. Very good. All right. Daisy, thank you very much indeed. Please take your judging chair. Now then, the scientists are now going to present their organisms to you. Remember, you are investors. You are people out there that they want approval from. This is not them telling you something and for you to just understand it. You need to ask questions. You need to be argumentative. You need to push them into selling their product to you. And scientists, remember, this is not just an interesting exercise in telling people about your subject. No, no, no. You need these people's approval. You're not walking out of that room until you, and without sort of, you need to just sell this like you've never sold anything before in your life. Imagine this is a grant panel or something. Imagine they're that scary and that important. That's what you need to be doing. Sell, sell, sell. Forget about caveats. Just the universe is possible with all this stuff. So, with that in mind, let me. Well, the universe is exactly. The universe is part of all this. With that in mind, let me introduce the first of our scientists. And Lara, you're going to go first. She's going to introduce herself. She's got 10 minutes to make her pitch to you. We're going to then go to you for questions, and then the judges will score. So, Lara.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lara. I'm going to just try and get this up here and working. All right. Look at that little guy. Look at that little guy. Okay, so I'm Lara. I am a scientist, and I'm going to have to tell you like I've never sold anything before, because I've never sold anything before. So I'm really going to have to work hard on this. I have done a PhD in immunology, so I'm going to have any knowledge you want on immunology and nothing else. And I'm now a med student. I went back to college. So if you want to know anything about the upper limb, we did that in the first 10 weeks. Anything else, nothing, but upper limb, come ask me afterwards, okay? All right, so I'm starting off with this, and I'm kind of tricking you guys into it because he's adorable. This is a little Highland calf, and really, I'm only putting him up there to get your attention because he's super cute, because today we're going to talk about Susan. She is not quite as adorable. Susan is an African cow, and she's not the prettiest thing in the world. I don't know why she has horns that big, but she is going to help us save the entire world, I reckon. Well, she's going to help us save the world that need to be saved at the moment. The rest of them are grand. Okay, so this is going to be a sales pitch because I actually think genuinely this could work. I think that if we actually look into this, I mean, some parts more than others, but some parts of these could really, really save lives. And I'm not going to be up on my pedestal here, but I really think this is going to be wonderful if we can think of a way to do it. So, Susan, all right? Here's the bit of the sob story, and this is all genuinely true and unfortunate. Here's a little baby, and every 21 seconds, so while we're sitting here, as 21 seconds tick by, a baby dies from a waterborne illness. That means that over the course of my talk, as long as I keep even generally within my time, this many, so there's about 28 babies there, while I'm talking, are going to die. Any children under the age of 5. So today we're talking 4,100. Don't count them. There are not 4,100. And that means that in the space of a year, 1.5 million children under the age of 5 are going to die from a waterborne illness. So that's basically 3 Dublins. I think we're around 500,000. So it's about 3 Dublins. Don't question me, I'm a scientist. So this is huge. Waterborne illnesses are so preventable. They're just unbelievably preventable. And this is just children. It's 3.4 million people every year from these diseases which could be saved. These people could be saved so easily. So this is where Susan is going to come into it. But before we chat to Susan, we're going to have a little talk to Stephen. So Stephen here is a kangaroo rat. And I just think he's also adorable, so I'm kind of playing on the cute card on this one here. But Stephen lives in the desert, and he has these phenomenal kidneys inside him. So what your kidneys do is they take all of the crap out of your body that you don't need, mix it with a bit of water, and they just pop it out in the ground. Hopefully you use the bathroom. If anyone's drinking a bit too much tonight, we'll wait and see. But Stephen has got these wonderful kidneys. And what happens is, because he lives in the desert, he doesn't get very much drink. Every time he brings anything into his system, he can just whip all the water straight back out of it. So when he's peeing, he's basically peeing maple syrup. He is just peeing out the most seriously concentrated urine in the whole world, and he keeps all the water for himself. I think this is amazing. I think this could work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his kidneys and I'll stick them into Susan. So every time she drinks, now she's not going to have the most restricted water in the world, so she can drink a good bit. She's going to drink. Her amazing kidneys are going to jump into place. They're going to pull everything back out. But it's going to go through her udder. So when you go to milk this cow, you're going to get loads and loads of liquid. You're not going to have this thick, creamy milk. You're going to have loads of liquid, loads of water. And it's sterile, and it's beautiful, and it's clean. Now, of course, if you leave it sitting out in the sun for hours, you're going to have the same problem. But don't, just drink it. Let's imagine they're drinking it really, really quickly. So we're going to get all this clean and wonderful water, and we're going to get a lot of it. So it's actually genuinely, hopefully, going to be able to save lives. But it's not just water that's the problem. There's an awful lot of problems in developing countries, but one is a serious issue with vitamin deficiency. And one of the biggest ones is vitamin A. So again, here comes the science bit. Vitamin A is very, very important for your sight. It's also very important for your immune system, which is my pal. So your sight, your immune system, and just your general health. So it's estimated that up to 500,000 children from vitamin A deficiency lose their sight every year, and then an awful lot of them die. So this is really, really serious. And this honestly is the most easily preventable thing in the world. Vitamin A is everywhere. None of you are deficient. There's not a chance you're deficient in Ireland. You're just not. Like, we're practically running around with cow's milk. So you're not deficient. So what we need to do is find a way to make it easy to get it over to places where they really need it and save these 500,000 children every year. So what are we going to do? We're going to chat to Roger the rice plant. So rice can make vitamin A. They make a thing called beta-carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A. So when you eat it, you change it inside your body into vitamin A, and it does all of the different things that it needs to do, which is so much, but without it, it is so, so debilitating. So what we're going to do is we're going to chat to Roger. We're going to ask him if we can borrow his little gene for beta-carotene, and we're going to stick it on into Susan, so that this lovely watery milk, which is already giving life to these people who have nothing but dirty water, they're going to be pumped full of vitamin A as well. We'll pump full of the precursor, and then they're going to turn it all into vitamin A. So it's going to save about 500,000 children's sight and lives every single year. Okay, so this is really, really important. Then after that, we're going to have a little chat with Barry. Because you're probably thinking, okay, look, this imaginary cow, she's off in Africa. We know that sometimes there's droughts. Where's she getting all this water? All right, so she's producing it for them. It needs to go into it, right? So Barry is a Namib beetle, a Namib desert beetle, and he is class. So what he does is he never drinks from an external source. He doesn't need to go and find a little pool or a little pond or anything. All he does is he sits in the ground, he pops his butt up in the air, and his back is specially designed so that he's got these little, I'm going to use a little jargon now, hydrophilic little lumps on the back. That means he's got lumps on the back of his back which love water. And they suck the water out of the air. He stands there, and if the wind comes by, it sucks the water out. And then he's got these little grooves which hate water. So once he sucks the water out, it flows down the little grooves, and you can see it there, flowing right down into Barry's little mouth, and he drinks away. So he's delighted with himself, never ever needs any water, just gets it all from the air. So Susan is getting a bit of Barry shell. All right? So Susan is now going to have a little bit of Barry shell on her back. So Susan's going to be well trained. She's going to put her butt up on top of some sort of little stool. All the water's going to come in from the air. So even if we're having a drought, no problem. Susan just turns around. You've all seen they can lick all the way around there. And she drinks all the water off her own back. And boom, pops out sterile water for anyone who needs it. Now, guys, I know you're thinking, we're in Africa. There's lions. And there's lions. Okay, so we need to find a way for Susan to be able to handle these lion attacks, which we know happen all the time. So these scary, terrifying lion attacks. And this is going to be really easy because we're not going to stop the lions attacking her. We're just going to make sure she's fine when it happens. This is Nellie the newt. So if you look here, if you take off a newt's arm, within 7 to 10 weeks, they can completely regrow an arm. This is alien to mammals. Now, what we can do is we have class livers. So if you take out, say, a third of your liver, the rest of your liver is going to grow back to account for that weight. So we have great livers. So this is a potential. There's no way that this can't ever happen in mammals. It happens, and it happens with our livers. But kind of Luke Skywalker style, it has not yet happened with our arms. But here's Nellie proving that it does. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Nellie's genes that help her. When this gets cut off, all the little cells up here that used to be skin cells and bone cells and hair cells and freckle cells, they stop being that, they become stem cells, and they regrow a full arm. Nellie can do it, so can Susan. So Susan's growing some very attractive buttocks back there. They're kind of meaty, so they're kind of boy buttocks, but that's what happened. So Susan's now got this ability to regenerate a leg after this dreadful, dreadful lion attack. So kind of now we have the perfect cow. The other reason it's perfect is because cows are everywhere. We know that they're everywhere. They're easy to keep. They're easy to use. They're just brilliant animals. They're so functional. It's not exciting and sexy like some animals might be, but I think Susan is brilliant. So if we put it all together, we're going to have Susan's amazing kidneys filling the big place up with sterile water. You're going to have loads of vitamin A popping out of there, stop everyone going blind. And we're going to have this amazing beetle shell, so when she's thirsty, just get back there, have a little lick. And finally, we've got her big, fat, awesome buttocks. And what we have now is Super Susan, who saves the day. Thank you very much, guys.
All right. Well, I think that Susan, is she still going to be called Susan after all that?
Super Susan.
Super Susan,
Super
right?
Susan.
I'm going to go straight to the judges. Claire and Daisy, give us your best on this. I mean, what initial reaction? Is this
initial reaction?
This is a good thing or?
This is a weird thing. Okay.
Good.
Okay, Lara, I love your imagination. That's fantastic. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, ideally, robo-cow wandering around in the middle of Africa. Fantastic. I'm just thinking about the lions, okay? Because my understanding of lions is that they don't eat cow legs, they eat cow offal.
They're very polite,
including
lions.
Kidneys. So what if a cow eats the bloody expensive kidney?
That's fine.
You're
No.
stuffed.
My regenerative capacity goes for everything. It's not just for the limbs.
Oh, but newts can't grow their kidneys. You need to find something that can regrow its kidneys.
Oh, I can regrow my liver, so maybe we'll find another animal.
Liver and
that can
kidneys,
do.
I believe, are different things.
I haven't. Listen,
I'm the
she's only
almost
done,
medic in
I'm
the
no
room
scientist,
here.
but
she's
maybe.
only done 10
It's only
weeks
10
of
weeks,
med
I
school.
honestly
She only
can't
did the
tell you
upper
anything.
arm, so
You don't know. I mean, I suppose it's all just stuff in there at the moment.
It's all like
Medical
just general.
students.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's, as long as it's the upper limb. No, okay, fair enough, but there's got to be something that can do a kidney. I don't know off the top of my head, but we'll find something.
I think that's a good point though. And just in case anyone was thinking this is entirely possible.
Daisy?
Daisy.
Well, I think it's very hopeful. You know, I think you get top points for hope. I'm not sure it's synthetic biology, and you know, how many synthetic biologists are in the room? I've got one, so I'd be curious. You know, any more? I mean, I wonder.
It's kind of special genetic engineering. Though.
Yeah, I mean, it's hybridization and synthesis for
Let's
sure.
not
Absolutely.
get
It's
bogged down in
synthetic.
definitions like
No.
that.
Patchwork husbandry as the new subdiscipline of synthetic biology is brilliant. I mean, I'm curious, do you think that your market will want this? I mean, you know, we've seen the golden rice. So golden rice is this huge initiative to put beta-carotene into rice to make it more nutritious for people in developing countries who don't have access to vitamin A. And it's been rejected. So I'm wondering how you're going to persuade people to start farming and because that's obviously part of the business model. So if they've got this robo-cow walking around with a beetle shell in its back, producing orange, watery milk.
The only reason that the golden rice has been rejected is because people are terrified of putting GMOs out there. It's not that it's not functional, it's not that it's not a phenomenal idea, and it's not that it won't save 500,000 people a year. It will, it'll do all of those, but people are terrified. Now, if I'm making RoboCow, I'm assuming it's going to be a world where people are a little less scared of GMOs.
That's what I was going to say. If people are terrified of rice, how terrified are they going to be of Susan?
But then it debunks the entire point of synthetic biology, because then people are going to be terrified of it no matter what. So all we need to do is market it properly. And honestly, with Susan, she doesn't have any seeds. She's not blowing around in the wind. She's just pretty much stuck there. So it's actually a lot more appealing than a rice, because rice plants, people are terrified. They could go anywhere, they could do anything. Like, we just need to have a corral of lions around Susan.
I was going to say,
she's
you
not
just
going
need your
anywhere.
circle of lions, I think there might be a population issue there, more cows than lions. But,
That's the thing,
Do you think that it's going to be expensive? If you have all these technologies in there, each cow may be at the moment not very expensive for this village to have, and now with all these technologies, it could be like £1 million per cow or something.
But isn't it like everything? I mean, this whole grow your own burger thing, what did it cost? $300,000 to grow your own burger? But it's the same thing that if you wanted to get a genetic code, if you wanted to check my entire genome 20 years ago, it would be unbelievably prohibitively expensive. If you wanted to do it now, you can. You just send away and you get it done. So yes, it's going to be expensive now. No, it's not going to be as expensive in the future, but also mine is self-replicating. She just has to have a little bit of sex with boy Susan, and then we get loads of baby Susans. So maybe we will call him Stephen or Peter or something. But yeah, no, maybe expensive to begin with, probably not in a few years, but then certainly not over a longer time.
Okay, so Lara has answers to everything, as you can see. And so let's try and find a question she can't answer or challenge some of this. I don't think she feels like there's any question she can't answer. So, guys, first of all, just some reactions. Reactions, good reactions, yes. This is a good thing, or bad thing, or terrible thing. No reaction at all. Come on, there we go.
Lions don't just eat legs; they eat the entire cow.
They do eat the entire cow. We've raised this point.
That is a good point, and
You've raised that. You'd say that you may gave it bigger horns to fend off the lions.
that's exactly what I did do.
You just make
Those were
more
synthetic
expensive
horns.
now.
There's no cow like that in the real world.
Anyone else? Come on, any questions?
What's the startup cost, like, to actually get the whole process going?
$1.2 billion.
Yeah, I think you might have just made that number up. I'm not sure.
Prove that I made it up. Come on.
I think that there's $1.2 billion.
That's it, exactly.
That's cheap for saving the world.
There you go.
But
I'll invest. I'm a student. I have like a 10.
would you invest at that sort of money? Anyone?
No, that wasn't me investing.
You're
yeah,
investing.
no, Ian.
I think technically you've just bought some shares.
Going, gone.
No, I was going to ask, like, will the watery milk reduce her ability to raise her cows?
Yes, it absolutely will. So we need surrogate cow parents to raise the cows of the baby Susan.
Oh, we're getting more expensive here.
No, cows aren't expensive. It's fine. No, I have it all sorted.
Robo cows are expensive.
Surrogate cow parents, totally grand.
Hang on, this is...
Surrogate cow sheep, goats. What's not expensive?
Is any farmers here? Does anyone know anything about this industry that might be able to put some numbers onto this? What about you guys at the back there? You've been quiet. Tell us what you think about this, or any particular cost. Do you believe 1.2 billion, is it pounds, euro? What is it?
Dollars.
Dollars. 1.2 billion
Canadian dollars.
space dollars that it's going to cost.
What's the breakdown?
Here we go. I'm asking proper sort of Dragon's Den type questions here. This is very good.
1.1 is to go to making the cow, and the other is so that I can go and hide when the cow doesn't work.
So you don't want to admit that.
No, the cow's going to work. It's fine.
Anyone else? Yeah, go for it. Shout them out.
What about diseases? Like, you're going to have cows that are Super Susans, and then normal cows. Will the disease be as difficult to fight in, say, Super Susan as it is in normal cows?
So as in, like, normal cows get sick ordinarily? Oh no, Super Susan has this unbelievable immune system. Yeah, so I mean,
okay, wait,
I didn't want to
just say that.
I didn't want to go into it because I didn't want to be the immunologist in the room. But no, like, she's got a reinforced immune system against everything, anything. She's not going to get sick.
From where?
Canada.
Canada's not your answer to everything.
Canada's what I'm going with. Okay, no, so there are a heap of animals that have very, very advanced immune systems, and rather than, I mean, I could probably spend 100 million years going into it, but you can even, I mean, there are amazing things in humans you could even take and put into them. You could take anything from Drosophila from there's so many amazing immune systems out there. So we could sort of take little bits from everything we want and just splice those genes in, and she'd be perfect.
All right, there's one more over there. Someone had, yeah, go for it.
Would the shell on the back of the cow be able to produce enough water for it to drink?
Very good question. I was thinking the same thing.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't.
Was always going to be my answer.
Do you
to that
believe
question.
that? Do you believe it will? No.
This is in hard times. We're talking in hard times here.
We're talking about a place where there's not much water in the air. Surely.
But there are currently cows in Africa, and they currently drink. So I'm talking about the times.
But they have to go to a watering hole or something.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the times when it's really hard times. And I mean, that beetle has got a shell big enough to keep it going. So if we put a big enough shell in the cow, why not? Why can't we?
Lara, if you think of the volume to surface area difference between insects and cows, you're gonna need something the size of the Aviva Stadium for a cow.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry.
Go for it.
You said that the cow puts its behind it.
Yeah, so it's trained.
Are people going to train it?
Yeah.
How?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, no, like so. This comes with like your very own like ringmaster in a circus. So the cows are trained.
Another expense, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm paying for that. It's okay. That's part of my 100 million. So yeah, they're fully trained cows, and it's very easy to train cows. I've done it heaps of times. So they're trained to pop their butts up into the wind, and then they don't have to go very high. It's just like standing up. It's sort of be grand. Yeah.
Now, despite all these questions that are still in my mind raised about the whole thing, unless anyone's got any specific other ones, we're going to go to the judges just for. Oh, go.
Can Super Susan mate with a normal Norman?
No, it's like Jurassic Park. She's not able to. It's on purpose. We don't want her to be able to get out unless we want her to get out.
Lara, but in Jurassic Park, didn't they go crazy?
Life. It's like Jurassic Park 2, where nothing went wrong.
No, that was even worse.
3. Have they made the 4th yet? It's like 4. You haven't seen it yet. It hasn't come out. But that's where everything goes well. So
number 4, I think they go to New York or something. I think.
That's Madagascar.
It's my terrible knowledge.
No, she's missing an extremely important gene that allows her to mate with ordinary cows.
Well,
therefore, she can only mate with super cows.
I'm going to say this because Jeff Goldblum said it in Jurassic Park, but life finds a way.
Life does find a way.
You're not going to stop
life
this
finds
thing
a way.
from reproducing. It's
we'll get a little glass of water and we'll see which way it goes. No, life doesn't find a way in this case.
Evolution has ways beyond anything we can do. I think Super Susan's a fantastic idea. I really do. And in the categories that we've got to judge them on now, I don't envy you both, I have to say, Claire and Daisy. The first is the purpose for designing this organism. I mean, you've got to admit, it's a really good idea. It's a really necessary thing.
Well, definitely a necessary thing. It's a way out way of dealing with a very necessary thing. I think top marks for ambition, though, Lara.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to say it's a necessary thing, right? Good. Purpose.
I mean, I think it fulfills the world-saving category.
It really does.
And so the purpose is genuinely good.
So the purpose for designing this organism, out of 10, guys. I'm going to write this down on the board.
I'd say.
Do we have to clap this one?
No. You don't have to clap.
Do we have to agree? Do we have to, one number?
Would be helpful, I think, wouldn't it?
I mean, I'd say, I'd like to see some community engagement. Is this what people actually want? And I think that's missing from the pitch. So I'd say maybe an 8.
I was thinking 8 as well, yeah.
8 out of 10. Yeah. Are you sure? 8 out of 10 for the purpose. Do you all agree, guys? Roughly? Yeah, very good. This is not your round, but 8 out of 10. Where am I going to put this? Here. There we go. 8 out of. Oh, this doesn't work. But just remember that. Whilst we go to the next category.
Do you want that?
No, it's okay. We got many more pens. Thank you very much. 8 out of 10. There we go. Excellent. 8 out of 10. That's quite a high score, I have to say.
Well, I think it's a noble purpose.
It's a noble purpose. Yeah. The likelihood that this organism actually will exist.
0.
Be honest. Because we need to inject some reality into this.
Alok, can we use minus values in this?
All of the numbers are available to you, including imaginary ones. So the likelihood it's going to exist. We've got to put some reality into this. It's amazing. And what an amazing pitch, frankly. If you gave her 1.2 billion, would this happen?
I'm going to say it won't happen.
Well,
but, I don't want to eat my hat in 10 years' time when I go to Africa.
Is this going to happen?
But I think that there are aspects of it that are relevant to real research. So I think that the beta-carotene, the vitamin A precursor in milk is, it's not that far from the rice project. It's also, I mean, a cow making orange milk is going to be strange. Will the milk be orange? Slightly orange. That's going to be interesting, but it'll make cheese more interesting. We're going to hear more about that. But
making cheese from this thing. It's for people to drink to get vitamins.
But I think that is an interesting part of it, and we've already seen the spider goat. So goats are being engineered to produce spider silk in their milk. So it's not that far. So I'd say about a 2 for likelihood.
That's
I suppose it depends on the time span. I mean, are we allowed to think forward of about 5 million years?
I think 5 million years, I'm not sure cows will exist, but maybe.
Maybe super cows will exist. I'm going to agree with 2 actually, because I think the likelihood of it existing in my lifetime anyway is 0. But in maybe some of the people in the audience's lifetime.
They don't think it's going to happen.
See, this is now self-fulfilling prophecy. Now Susan's not coming around.
Well, I think she's like a caricature of things that could exist.
All right, so I'm going to put a 2 down. 2. There we go. Next one, the benefit of this organism to society.
This is assuming it does exist.
Yeah, I guess so. Which
we said it won't.
Category completely, but now the benefit of this thing to society would be amazing. You've essentially created something very, very useful.
2 million lives every year.
Probably more than that.
Probably
more than that. Great benefit.
You don't think it's a great benefit?
Well, I don't know if anyone would actually want this. I think that the element of choice, we're assuming that this is the right solution, and that worries me. That it could be useful. I mean, maybe like a 4.
Okay. Surely it will be useful if it does somehow exist. Then it can't not be useful.
But the amount of other things that you need, the technology solutions to make it possible, the idea that you'd have to have a cow trainer to look after your cows and surrogate cows to look after the cows that the cows make. I think it's over technology.
Think of the economic benefits.
I also think there are already existing solutions for each of these. They just don't all take cow form. So
they should.
Wouldn't it be more entertaining if they did? Give us a score for the benefit this organism could have for society.
Let's say 5. Okay, we'll go for mid 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
All right. So, there's an interesting set of scoring going on here in that you think that there's a great purpose for this, but it's going to be not very useful or possible. Interesting. Okay. All right. The final one. Will this thing destroy the universe?
No.
But is it good or bad? Do you want it to destroy it?
Well, that's it. I mean, that means we give it a 0 because...
Let me just say, the scoring for this is basically, you have to decide that destroying the universe is probably a bad thing, I would say. So that's a 0.
Yes.
10 is that it can't possibly destroy the universe.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever it does. Think about that.
Think
and then you score based on those rules.
It has huge horns and it can regrow limbs.
Yes, exactly. It has huge horns. It can regrow everything. So when you chop it in half, it regrows itself. It's going to destroy the world. You think it's going to be contained within a ring of lions? It's going to escape. It's going to get to New York. It's going to get to Dublin. It's going to eat everyone. It's going to destroy everything. It's
vegetarian.
It's going to drink all the water from the air.
It's only going to eat the vegetarians.
It's going to swim. All it needs to do is jump into the water, and all the water goes into it, into the sea. The seas disappear. This is dangerous.
So wait, 0 is it's going to destroy.
Oh yeah, the methane. What are we going to do about the methane that it burps out?
How much
It's
methane?
got the same amount of methane as regular.
Oh, could you not just reduce the methane while you're at it?
Is this thing going to destroy the universe? I think we've got a compelling argument that it might.
I'd say 10. No, 8.
10.
8.
No.
10 is that it's not going to destroy the universe.
I don't think it's going to destroy the universe.
You don't think?
The lions are going to stop it.
Thank you.
Oh no, wait.
I trained the lions as well.
If the stuff that Lara has made up to say this is true is as possible, then surely the rest of what I've just said is true as well. You want to give us an 8?
I think you're biased.
I'm just being neutral. Just giving you the
Wait, so 0 is destroy.
0 is destroy. 10 is not destroy. I don't think it's going to
It's
destroy.
the wrong way around. No, I thought it was going to destroy.
You think it will destroy the universe? Well, then give it a 0.
0. Okay.
So come on, judges, confer.
I don't think it's going to destroy the universe.
3.
4. 4.
4?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
4? Is that... I think the audience think it's going to destroy the universe.
Well, let them clap. Let them clap.
Well, they don't have a vote on this one,
No.
I'm afraid. Although you can make your voice heard when we go to your bit in a second. So you're going to give it a what? 4?
4.
4. All right. Great. We're going to come to the audience vote at the end when we've heard everyone. And we're also going to let the other scientists ask one of the others a question at the end as well. So hold your horses for that. So for the cows. Lara, thank you very, very much indeed. What an amazing presentation. Next up we have Christina. Oh no, we have Fergus. Sorry. Fergus, you're next.
Okay, so my name is Fergus McAuliffe and I'm a plant scientist from UCC. And the animal that I want to make is one that can defeat Polytoad. So this is Polytoad, it's Pokemon. And it's a leader of Poliwag and Poliwhirl. And when all of these three gather together, they sing in a bellowing chorus and they live in damp areas. And I don't really like either of those things. So I want to destroy them. One curious thing about Poliwag is that the curlier its hair, the more respect it has from its fellow Poliwags. And I also don't like that either. So the animal that I'm going to design to defeat Poliwag is called Camphibot. And it's going to be a frog that is a match for Polytoad, but also a match for any other animal that there is. So its base animal is the African bullfrog, Pixiocephalus aspersus. And it's very aggressive, which is good, and they wrestle a lot. So when the males get together, they really like to wrestle, and they've got yellow chests, so they wrestle kind of with their chests. So they don't really use their hands, they just wrestle with their chests, which are yellow. They also are prodigious, so this means that they have the ability to change sex. So if they want to go from male to female or female to male, they can really easily. The next thing about Camphibot is that it needs to be able to withstand extreme temperatures, because this is very important when you're fighting Polytoads. So the first extreme temperature that it has to withstand is the cold. Okay, so for this we're going to use the North American wood frog, Rana sylvatica. And this wood frog is absolutely fantastic because it freezes and then thaws itself out every single winter, multiple times. And when it's frozen, it is completely frozen. So it starts to freeze from the inside out. So first its legs freeze, and then its head and chest freeze until finally its heart freezes. It doesn't have any pulse, it doesn't have any heartbeat, and it's in complete cardiac arrest. And it stays like this for weeks. So essentially during these weeks, the frogs are just like ice cubes. But when the spring returns, they slowly begin to thaw out over a matter of hours and gradually re-emerge from the deep freeze. And this happens every single year. So I think they're one of the coolest organisms out there. So being able to withstand these freezing temperatures would be really, really good when it comes to a fight in the Arctic Circle. So that'll be so that's very important. The next temperature that Camphibot must be able to withstand is extreme heat, because Poliwag really likes to hang around kind of in the midday sun. So for this, we're going to use the salamandra is its Latin name. And as you all know, salamanders can walk in fire. As everyone knows, that is definitely not legend. They're able to walk through fire, easy peasy. They're actually not. But the legend comes from these guys hang out in kind of damp patches of wood. So back in the day when, say, the people who were settling in Central Europe, they would cut down the wood and they would place this on a fire. And gradually the wood would heat up and the salamanders would emerge out of the wood, so they'd be driven out of the wood by the heat. And that's where the legend came from, because people thought that they were emerging from the fire, but they were actually just emerging from the wood. But for the purpose of this talk, we're just going to assume that they can withstand fire. So they can withstand extreme cold and come back to life. That's actually true, and they can withstand extreme heat and fire, and that's actually true as well. The next part of the fight will be self-defense. So this is Wolverine, Latin name absolutely ripped us. And so we want to be, or the frog, it really needs to be able to protect itself. And obviously the wolverine doesn't exist, obviously. So but we're going to use the next best thing, and that is the African hairy frog, or the African horror frog. And this is real. That's a real photo. This guy, when he's in danger, he has these sort of retractable claws, okay, just beneath his skin. But they're not like normal claws. So normal claws are made of keratin, but these claws are actually made of bone. So what he does is when he's under threat, he actually breaks his bones and sticks them out through his skin, okay, and that would prevent pretty much anything from eating it. And this is actually real as well. But the one bad thing about this this method of self-defense is that now all its bones are broken and it can't. And it's stuck. It can't really go anywhere. So it just has to kind of wait there until its bones regenerate, which they do. The next part of the fight, well, there's going to be a bit of hiding. Okay, so Camphibot is going to hide on Polytoad, and for this we're going to use the amazing camouflage abilities of the Vietnamese moss frog, Pheloderma corticale. And as you can see there, it's really, really hard to see. So maybe when Polytoad is hanging around, singing with its buddies in the chorus, then Camphibot can sort of creep up near it along the moss and then surprise it all of a sudden. The next part is Camphibot is poisonous, really, really poisonous. So they say don't eat yellow snow, but what they really should have said is definitely don't eat a yellow frog. So this is Philobades terribilis, also known as the golden dart frog. So these guys, they hang out in Central and South America, and you may have seen them in the movie Apocalypto. So for those of you that are slightly squeamish, perhaps look away, but it's that's all it is. So this is a scene from the movie. So this guy here, he's being chased by all those guys there. So he finds one of the poisonous frogs, and what he does is what they really do, like what the Native Americans really do, is that they get, say, like a spine off a tree, and they just kind of rub it along the back of the frog. So they don't actually stick it into the frog, they just rub it along the back of it. And that, the poison that's on the back of the frog is called bacathirotoxin, I think, and it's an alkaloid poison, and it's incredibly poisonous. They reckon it's one of the most toxic chemicals out there, and a single milligram of this is enough to kill 10 to 20 humans, or about 10,000 mice. So when he's fighting Polytoad, there's no way that Polytoad can eat him because he's really poisonous. Okay, so Polytoad definitely won't eat him. And then we have some novel strategies as well for the fight. The first one of these is shifting. Everyone loves a good shift. And so for this, we were, you might have heard of the leopard toad before. This is Rana sphenophala, and it's got a really, really long tongue. So that's really good for shifting. So here's an example of the leopard frog using its really long tongue there to eat an insect. Okay, so just imagine shifting that. It's kind of like a dishwasher. It'd be great. So that's the size of its tongue. Then, well, like that tongue isn't really that long, so we could use the tongue of the chameleon. So this is this is Jackson's chameleon, and its tongue is about 20 to 25 centimeters long. So that's almost a foot long. These guys hang out in Kenya and Tanzania, and they've also got 3 horns as well. So their Latin name is Trisus jacksoni. So if you know the dinosaur Triceratops, so tri means 3 and ceros means horn, so 3 horns. So this guy not only does have a really long tongue, but he also has 3 horns, which you can use for fighting. We could potentially use the tongue of the giraffe. But that's not really good for fighting. That's more good for or that's better for let's say eating leaves off the tops of trees, because it can grasp the leaves and pull it into its mouth. We could use the tongue of the Helarctos malianus. So this is the sun bear. It's the world's smallest bear, but one of the world's longest tongues or biggest tongues. And what this bear does is that it has jaws and canines and molars. So it would pick up, say, like a piece of wood or like a part of a termite mound, and it would crush it in its mouth, and then it would sort of hold those pieces in its hand, and it would use its tongue to lick up all of the termites. So it's got a really, really good tongue, perfect for shifting. We could also use the tongue of Albert Einstein as well. like might be a bit difficult because he's dead and we don't know where the tongue is, but I'm sure we could get around that. But in the end, I decided that, seeing as it's the Camphibot and the tongue that I really want to use is that of Miley Cyrus. His Latin name is Tongus offensivus, and she also has 2 subspecies as well, Hugefus twercus and Innocentus natanimoris. So these tongues, they're also really, really good for shifting. And so like if there was ever like a shift fight between Camphibot and Polytoad, I'm sure the Camphibot would win. Being cute is also another strategy. So to diffuse any, say if Polytoad is being too aggressive, it's time to act cute to sort of diffuse the aggression. And we could say Sus domesticus is the domestic pig, and that's really, really cute, and I'm sure that's the exact response that Polytoad would give, just a collective, but it would be in a chorus because all they do is sing and have curly hair. But it's not really that cute. Like, this is probably cuter. So this is Michael Lee Higgins. This is Latin name Hobbitus minoris, and he's really cute. He's about this tall, and he's really, really cute because and he's really small. But in the end, I decided for Camphibot that we would go with the cutest whore of them all, as Jackie Healy-Rae, Latin name Cutus hurus. But I suppose the worst, I suppose one of the bad things about maybe incorporating Jackie Healy-Rae into this is because his cap actually confers special powers. So say if the cap fell off the Camphibot, then he would have a bad case of serious come over us. So he would lose all his power, just like Samson would lose all of his power. It'd be the exact same. It'd be the exact same with the poor Camphibot. So as long as the hat stayed on the Camphibot, then I'm sure the Camphibot will be fine. Then the last one would be the dance-off. So like at the end of the fight, after all of the shifting and after all of the being cute and diffusing aggression, there'd be a dance-off. And as we sort of become a more technological society, we're actually becoming more and more like robots. So obviously it would be a robot dance-off. And for that we would use some of the DNA of Peter Crouch. So he's really good at doing the robot dance. His Latin name is Longbolus Hopen Hitus. And his angular frame is perfect for being a robot because he kind of looks like a robot anyway, so he doesn't really have to do a whole lot. So I suppose to finish, for the Camphibot, it's 50% cute, 50% amphibian, and 50% like a robot. And if you combine all of them, you get 150%, which is way more than anything else can handle. Thank you very much.
Fergus, thank you very much. We are looking through the looking glass now, aren't we? What is that? We don't even have a picture of Camphibot.
Yeah, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't show you the picture of it.
Because you got some sort of angel investor or something already on board to sort of stop.
Yeah, like it's strange. So I was thinking about the money issue because it might take a bit of money to put it together, but like you don't know him, but Jackie Healy-Rae is a really cute whore, right? And he can get money for anything at all, no matter what. He can get money for it.
Okay, well,
he's right.
Before we go to the judges for questions and things, let's have some responses from you. Please, just shout out. What on earth do you think of this?
Yeah, they don't.
Kermit the Frog in all this. That's right.
They don't really like each other, principally because Kermit the Frog can speak, but the Camphibot can't. But then again, no one really likes Kermit the Frog, so I think it kind of evens itself up. Oh God, I just lost.
There's a lot of frogs in there. Are you a frog man? Is that
I'd like to say no, but unfortunately, yeah. But I don't actually study them. I study plants.
There's no plants in it. One would assume you would know about the genetics of plants.
Well, plants aren't that aggressive.
They're not.
No.
Well, some are. The Venus flytrap is sort of aggressive, I suppose.
Yeah, but they also can't move. So again, I need an aggressive moving.
There's a question.
Target.
What colour actually would the Camphibot be?
What colour would it be? Is this an important question? Is it important for? Yeah.
I think it would be mostly green because Amphi has 5 letters in Camphibot and the others only have 1 and 3, so it would be green.
So green. What you're producing essentially is a green frog made from bits of other frog. Doused in poison
Dowse,
which can dance.
And Peter Crouch.
And okay. Well, this is impressive. Over here, come on, guys. Overall reaction. Give us your reactions, if nothing else. You all gobsmacked? Slightly? Do you think this is going to happen? You do. Amazing. Please explain yourself.
Someday might Pokemon be possible. Someday this is definitely going to be one of my 150 anyway.
So someday might Pokemon be possible? That sounds like a frightening day. I don't even know really what Pokemon are, but Daisy, give us your considered opinions on this, which I also don't think is synthetic biology, but we've like I said, we've crossed the line now. We are here.
It's definitely not synthetic biology.
It's not.
No, absolutely not.
You know, and
maybe that should have been one of the judging characteristics.
Was that not in the brief?
It's not. Surprisingly, it is. Bizarrely, it isn't.
I would like you to explain the scientific procedure that will enable this experiment to work. So how would you actually go about putting all this DNA together? And what sort of trials will you be actually undertaking?
How many frogs
it would kind of... we've kind of put it together the old-fashioned way. So when I mentioned at the start that the African bullfrog is prodigious, it means it can change from a man to a woman. So depending on who it needed to, it would change.
Can I ask again, how?
I'm just conscious as younger.
Is it possible? Do you think that it's possible to put DNA from all these different species together to make a truly hybrid organism that carries all these features? What would actually be involved?
Yeah, I think I think there's a good chance we could make it hybrid, but it would unfortunately be sterile, so we can only ever make one. But
it's indestructible.
But I'm happy, I'm happy enough to take one sterile camphibot over none.
This thing will get lonely, I'm assuming.
Given. Thanks, Fergus.
You don't mean that. You don't even mean that.
No, so I'm kind of thinking this is the ultimate predator, isn't it? I mean, and I'm a bit concerned that when I walk out there, I'm going to not see a frog wearing Jackie Healy-Ray's cap in a bush, and I'm going to be dead. No, my question would be, if this is the ultimate predator, forget about the Pokemons, I don't really care about them. What if this eats other amphibians too and knocks out entire ecosystems and then gets a taste for mammals and us? How would you stop that happening?
Do we taste like frogs?
No, but camphibot is adaptable.
Chicken, probably.
Well, it wouldn't be that great, would it? If
no.
No, could it be... yeah, we wouldn't really want that at all. No.
Have you built in a plan around that contingency?
Well, if we have, if we can get lion or... a circle of lions around the camphibot.
Maybe a circle of non-Kerry politicians or something could stop it?
Yeah, maybe a circle of non-Kerry politicians.
But it's much tougher, as far as I understand, than Susan the cow. So surely the lions are no match for... you've made the ultimate... As you say, the ultimate predator that is indestructible.
Well,
this is beyond biology. This is into a whole new...
Yeah. I haven't I don't know if it's the ultimate predator because it's still quite small. So it's a lot smaller than a lion. So it'd be maybe about.
But if it contains that poison that kills 20 people by just looking at it, or.
Yeah. But if it's content and being non-aggressive and being cute, then the lions are unlikely to go at it. And it's way too small to ever actually eat a lion because it's probably maybe at max around the size of a lion's paw. So as long as there's
a... just be dead as soon as it gets anywhere near it. Yeah. Anyway, let's just let that hang, please.
Suggestion: rather than the lions, you said it has the African the wood frog freezing antifreeze in it.
Yeah.
So just run at it with a CO2 fire extinguisher, freeze it, put it in the freezer, and just leave it there.
Yeah, unfortunately,
but open the freezer.
It's that if you put it into the freezer, it actually dies. It can only freeze down to about -6, which isn't that's one of its drawbacks, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, it sounds like an over-technological solution to a problem that doesn't necessarily exist.
We can reflect these in the scores. Let's not do any judgments yet. Any other thoughts from anyone else, briefly? Please,
If you had included the African horror frog with it that broke all its bones, surely it would be fairly, like not that good if it just breaks all its bones on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's not the best self-defense mechanism, I'll admit that, but it does. But in real life, the African horror frog can regenerate its bones, but it just kind of has to wait for, I don't know, maybe like a few days.
It's not too bad.
I'd say a few days.
Is it painful, do you think?
Well, I would say it probably is painful because it's bone. Like it's not it's not nail that it's breaking.
How
it's actually
did
bone.
It involve that?
Yeah.
You'd have to wonder. Look, this is fascinating, but we need to start scoring this. I'm not sure how this is going to work.
The purpose for design this.
We have 4 categories. We should do this as fast as possible because.
Can we give an average for them all?
No, we have to go through this. It's only fair. Well, let's go for the purpose of designing this organism. Is there any good purpose in designing this organism?
It depends on how much you don't like Pokemon.
I think Fergus really doesn't like that curly-haired frog. You don't, do you? No. Really hates it.
No, he really hates it.
Really hates it.
Well, they do this thing in a course.
I don't know how dangerous that is.
Two?
If I'm honest with you.
Okay.
Three.
Yeah.
There's no purpose to designing this.
No.
They don't care about your problems, Fergus. This is terrible. 3. All right. Next category.
Likelihood.
Likelihood that this organism could actually exist. I think that we've, like I said, gone into another world.
What did we give the cow?
We gave the cow 2.
Let's give the frog 2.
It's really not going to be. I think.
I'm holding out for the third presentation for likelihood.
I think, in comparison, whatever Christina says is going to be more likely than these 2 things.
Benefit.
Benefit that this organism could offer society.
What do you want for this second category there?
2.
2. Okay. Now this is a fraught one. The benefit that this organism could offer to society.
But it could eliminate society.
It could. I think that's the next one.
It could eliminate society. As you say, it's the next one. But are there any benefits to this thing to society at all? I mean,
we have our answer.
He's answered himself.
The benefit is 0, and then
0.
Yeah.
There's a 0. I'm sorry, it's a 0.
But the next one.
Could this thing destroy the universe?
Yes, I think that's a 10.
Like you could just step on it.
Your foot would dissolve.
Poison. One person would have to do this and take a hit, but then
You do it, Ian.
Wear a shoe. You step on his dead. Universe.
It regrows its bones.
Yeah, but no,
I think the audience here doesn't agree with you.
No.
You don't agree?
On fire because
You can't. It's fireproof.
You can squish it.
Put it in a blender. Yeah. Well, okay. Put it in a blender. It won't go in the fridge. It's too clever for that.
It's 0 benefit.
It's going to destroy the world. This thing.
It won't destroy the universe in 10.
But it's so strong. Look at it.
It's not powerful though. It's not like gonna beat you up.
It's an aggressive African bullfrog. What do you think?
Yeah. No.
Wait, is 0 was destroy? 10
Destroy
is
the world. Yeah.
0.
A 0.
Sorry, Fergus.
Sorry, guys. It's going to destroy the world. We're not doing very well, Fergus. Christina, I think it's yours to take away here, because so far we have 19 for Lara and just a 5 for Fergus, unless the audience decides that it's going to be somehow more amazing. Christina,
all right.
to you.
So I think I've been going to the wrong synthetic biology conferences because I have never seen talks like this before I've been in this field for quite a while, and I have to say this is pretty impressive stuff here. So thanks everybody. My project is a little bit different. My title is Germline Endosymbiosis, a Modest Proposal. So I'm a synthetic biologist. My PhD is in synthetic biology. Right now I'm really interested in microbiology and how bacteria interact with each other, so symbiosis, and how bacteria interact with us. And in particular, I'm really interested in endosymbiosis, how bacteria get inside of other cells and sort of hang out with them from the inside. But synthetic biology, I think I'm still not sure that we've really talked about it very much tonight. So when you Google image search synthetic biology, you get something like this. You get this idea of DNA being like a super powerful, like really strong, macho kind of thing that we're going to be engineering, controlling, doing really awesome things. And in fact, Jim Collins, who's a leader in the field, he says synthetic biology is genetic engineering on steroids. There's this really like macho kind of idea of what synthetic biology is and what it can do. And it's this very like masculine sort of energy that happens when you're thinking about synthetic biology. So my proposal is actually that synthetic biology is a girl thing. And I think that this is something for women and something that we should really be promoting for women. And so my project is all about getting more women involved in synthetic biology. So the chassis that I'm going to be working with, so in synthetic biology we talk about the chassis organism that we're going to put our DNA designs into. Mine is called Wolbachia, which is a bacteria, which is an endosymbiotic bacteria. That means it lives inside of cells. Typically it lives inside of the cells of arthropods, so insects, fruit flies, spiders, nematodes, and even some crustaceans. So why can't it live inside of man? So I propose that we are going to transform Wolbachia with some genetic engineering to be able to infect human cells and be sort of propagated through human cells. And so the cells that Wolbachia infect are germline cells, so eggs and sperm. And so actually when I say, are we infecting man, that's actually a really interesting point, because in fact, Wolbachia cannot infect sperm cells. Sperm cells are too small because they have to get inside of the cell. So only egg cells carry the Wolbachia bacterial, the endosymbiont. So actually, Wolbachia has a really interesting life cycle where a lot of the selection goes towards destroying male embryos because they want to maximize the number of females that can transmit the Wolbachia into further generations. So for my circuit design for making human Wolbachia, there's 3 components to this modular design. There's the infection system, which will infect human cells. There's the male killing circuit that will kill off male embryos. And then once we've totally eliminated male chromosomes from the gene pool, we're going to have to generate a parthenogenesis module that's going to be able to get us to propagate the human species after all of the males are gone. So let's start with, I'm only gonna really talk about specifically the male killing sort of circuit component. The other stuff is a little bit more complicated. We can get into that if you want in the Q&A. So the male killing circuit has a promoter which is activated in the sort of, I guess, it's in the embryo but pre-implantation, so it becomes activated when the egg and the sperm connect, and it turns on something called a CRISPR, which is this really, really interesting kind of genetic device that synthetic biologists are super excited about. People are really interested in using this mechanism as a genome editing tool because it's really good. CRISPRs are good at recognizing sequences of DNA and cutting DNA at exactly that sequence site. So we can make a CRISPR that's targeted towards the Y chromosome. So in the embryo, if it recognizes the Y chromosome, it will bind and then break it apart. That embryo will no longer be viable. It won't implant, and you won't be able to have male offspring. I think this brings up a lot of really interesting questions that we'd have to consider. There's a lot of ethics, obviously safety considerations to the female host, and I think we're really going to have to think a lot about the cultural implications. But to people like me, I think the cultural implication seems actually quite positive, and I think that you would all agree that we would solve a lot of societal problems if we just eliminated males. So I hope that you agree with me, and I would welcome your questions. Thank you very much.
Wait a minute. Something bothers me about this. I can't put my finger on it. It's these women all laughing at something. What are they laughing at? What are they laughing at? I don't get it. Just so many anyway. So wow, some actual genome editing. CRISPR is an amazing technology, I have to say, with a serious face on. It's one of the it's going to be incredible in terms of many diseases. But we're not here to talk about that. I think there's some dangerous elements to this research. Do you not? I mean, there are other points. There's other reasons to have men around. No, like lifting heavy things.
That's what we have all this really excellent machinery.
Things, that sort of stuff.
Surely we could solve that with other synthetic biology problems.
Entire industries that would be destroyed. The sort of the trouser business, for example.
I'm wearing trousers right now.
You are, but you don't have as much material in your trousers as I do.
I could wear bigger trousers.
There's power tools. Power tools like drills and things.
What about them?
People wouldn't buy those anymore.
I have a power drill.
You do? Well, you have several. I'm sure men have many. Anyway, what am I talking about? Over to you for responses. Are there any men here who are worried about this thing?
I must add that this is not about killing any currently living men.
No more men.
So I'm not out to get you by any means. So don't worry. This is not.
Says that now.
Yeah. Only the male descendants. Yeah, I'm perfectly happy having your female.
I mean, I do think that synthetic biology making women interested is fantastic, but why kill all the men? It doesn't have. Surely, men, someone. None of you seem to be bothered about this. No? What?
Daisy,
Seems fair enough. What kind of group is this?
About funding. I mean, you're seeking funding, or what stage of funding are you at, and who are your funders?
Well, I've been talking a lot with feminist separatists who are really, really excited about supporting the project. They prefer to remain anonymous at this point, though.
And is it open source, or are you patenting the DNA?
It's certainly open source. We're very synthetic biology is really all about open source. So we do hope that other people take on this technology and build off of it. The Wolbachia is a really excellent chassis for all sorts of engineering. So we do hope that other people take this
Would you need to get FDA approval for use in human subjects?
That's a great question. There certainly would be some regulatory hurdles.
A few, possibly.
We're in discussion with the FDA and USDA.
In particular, what's she laughing at? She's got the most strange smile of all of them. Anyway, so
don't judge women's smiles.
I'm not judging. I'm just curious. I'd like to know.
I think it's pretty evident that they look very happy to me. So I think it's really all about happiness and societal bliss.
Okay. The CRISPR can it be used for other things other than gender, like
absolutely.
Taking out infections that might be prone to.
Why aren't you at the front here?
That's a fantastic question. So CRISPRs are super interesting. There's actually was an article very recently called "The CRISPR Craze," because there's so many ways that people are using it now in technology. So CRISPRs actually are a bacterial immune system. So bacteria use it to recognize viral DNA that is infecting them and to chop up the viral DNA. And so you can actually very easily re-encode the CRISPR to attack any DNA sequence. So people are using it for the idea, I guess, you mentioned sort of diseases of genetically inherited diseases. You may potentially one day be able to cut out inherited diseases. You can target other viruses or things like that. So it's a very exciting technology.
They're an amazing technology to keep lettuce really crisp in fridges.
Could you target curly hair?
And kill curly-haired embryos.
Wait!
I don't know. That's.
We're not going down to kill. We're not killing embryos here. It's not useful for people who are. You couldn't take someone and edit their genome, while they're living, right? Their entire genome. You wouldn't do that, would you?
No. I think that's still that's still beyond our current technology. But people are the way that people are thinking about doing gene therapy and genome editing for currently living would be with using a virus. A virus can infect cells and put DNA into individual cells.
I think you just need a a reverse perm if that exists. That'll happen. Yeah.
A hair straight.
I might know that, like I might have missed it, but how do you plan to continue the human race?
That's the parthenogenesis module. Yeah. Oh, here.
Virgin birth.
Yeah. So actually, Wolbachia in some species of insects are able to control a parthenogenesis sort of way of propagating the insect. It's a little bit more complicated, obviously, in insects, the way that they have their chromosome segregation. So it's going to be a little bit different for the human parthenogenesis. But I'm sure sort of with a combination of in vitro fertilization technologies and so now the cell fusion and cloning stem cell sort of technologies would be able to overcome that hurdle very, very easily in the future when that arises.
Can I just ask, were you inspired by the RIDL mosquito? And if you could, so the Oxitec mosquito, could you tell us about that and whether it's an inspiration?
Does that one use Wolbachia as the carrier of the mutation?
No, but so this is a real mosquito that's being used in trials in the Cayman Islands and in Brazil, made by a UK company, and they've engineered the mosquitoes so that when they mate with the females, the female mosquitoes, they don't make the progeny aren't viable, so the mosquitoes no longer continue to exist. And I was wondering, I mean, that's already happening.
Yeah.
But that's to stop diseases. This is just
to stop.
Well, you
violent killing.
I'm wondering what the difference is, They're
actually quite similar, and so I think that the way that there are Wolbachia that do infect mosquitoes and that do have a very similar kind of mechanism where you can only mate with other mosquitoes that are infected with the same species of Wolbachia, or will only allow female offspring to carry on forward. So I think. So for the natural parasite, it doesn't want to totally stop the race. So you maintain some of the males around, but yeah, this is certainly an inspiration to us to think about that kind of.
All right,
Christina, if I can ask you just
sure.
This might be a silly question, but is it possible for the
silly question?
Okay.
Imagine that.
Is it possible for the CRISPR to evolve within the bacteria evolve very quickly?
Yes.
Would it be possible for the CRISPR to evolve to mangle other genetic sequences, and it could end up causing havoc and killing everything?
That's a great question. I'm actually I wonder if people have been looking at that now in the context of the CRISPR, the current CRISPR craze. If you do sort of propagate a population of E. coli that has the CRISPR,
You mean no one's thought of that?
What?
That scientists just doing this without thinking about it? That's dangerous.
CRISPR's in E. coli in the lab, certainly. Yes, people are working on that. There's, I think, a large percentage of the iGEM teams this year were working with CRISPRs. I don't know how fast that evolves. I think that's an important question, though, and that's something that we'd have to study, and maybe we would have to sort of incorporate a kill switch at that point, that if it moved beyond a certain level of the sequence, we'd have to target and eliminate that symbiont at that point.
All right, Daisy, last question.
I just see that you're using a parts-based engineering type of synthetic biology,
yes.
and that is actually what you're trying to eliminate through this technology, so I see a conflict.
That's a really great question, too. So Daisy is alluding to the idea that the sort of parts-based biology and synthetic biology is part of this kind of macho idea that you can mix and match DNA and can control everything. And so my approach is certainly this more endosymbiotic approach, something that takes into account the sort of more fluidity of biology. Certainly it is ironic that we are using the parts-based approach, but we are going to be doing some directed evolution experiments in vitro before we do any of the infection experiments.
I think the chain of logic here is a bit strange with the whole... Why is that macho? I don't understand. Anyway, let's score this quickly, then we're going to go with the audience before we wind up. The purpose of this, I mean, you're a bit biased, frankly.
I guess it depends on where you sit on the spectrum.
I guess you like boys as well.
Yeah.
They're okay. Purpose, 0, right?
5.1.
What? Why?
For the 51% of us, Alok, currently.
This is the
moving
wrong way
towards 100.
towards equality.
I'd say 6.
So you think it's no?
I think 7.
You think that it's 70% a good thing to destroy all the males?
If it's good for mosquitoes.
Well, okay, I put this down under duress. I just hope Oh, okay.
I think, yeah. If
We've
there's
created a monster here. The next one, the likelihood that this thing could exist. I think this could actually exist.
Yeah, I think that's where we at 7 as well. Is it 8? Okay.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
All the technologies that are there. It's not as sort of, let's say, insane as the others.
CRISPR's over the other.
The likelihood that this organism, the benefit this organism could offer society. That's got to be a 0. No.
10. No.
Should we be nice? Should we be nice?
Benefit.
We'll be nice. 4.
4. Yeah.
So you think that no man is a bad thing, don't you? What? No, I don't know. 4.
4. Yeah.
4. Okay. And then this thing destroying the universe.
Yeah, I think it's quite likely.
I'm not convinced by the kill switches and the safeguards I think that this is a technology that could get out of control.
So that's a 0?
Yeah. In your reverse scoring system.
Reverse scoring system, a 0 is it will destroy the world.
Yeah.
The universe, rather.
Yeah, I think it's a 0.
I mean, even I can see it can't possibly destroy the universe compared to the other two. One, an invincible frog that breaks
Well, it can.
and then one which is like essentially Robo-Cow.
Well, it can if you get Robo-CRISPR, which just eats everything.
Robo-CRISPR.
Yeah.
Where have we got to? What is this about anymore? I don't even know. So what's your score for this?
0.
0. Really? Interesting. That's good. I mean, I would say it's the wrong place for the 0. I would say the 0 is here. But okay, well, we've come to the end of this now.
I think if I'd have objections to it being used for humans, but like if you're using it for mosquitoes and stuff like that.
She specifically said humans.
But it could.
The whole thing was about humans.
I think that
women at the end.
It's going to evolve, and I don't think that the safeguards. You couldn't stop it jumping species.
Well, look, we have our score here. And now we're going to go to the audience for your responses. Now, we are. We're going to go for your responses. Just remind me again of your 0, your 5, and your 10. Very good. Judges, you have to give the number for when they actually do this. Now, before we get to that point, guys, I'm going to go down the panel. And you will get to ask one of your fellow judges a question, and that's it, just one. And remember, you want to win, I'm assuming, so you want to make the other person's look as bad as possible. So ask a hard question to one of them. I think, Lara, you're going first. Tell us who you're going to ask and what you're going to ask.
I'm going to ask Christina.
Yeah.
I need to know, and this is very important for me, what is the backup plan for jars? Because I've got a really nice.
What is the backup plan for jars?
I'll show it to you. It's got like a little rubbery thing and a handle, and you just sort of like pull it, and it works.
So there's a device for jars, and that's enough for you, is it?
Yeah. Sort of. That's all I want to know.
That's it, is it? Fine. Fergus, who are you going to ask a question to?
I'm going to ask it to Lara.
To Lara.
You know that circle of lines? Are they male or female?
Well, yes.
Obviously, they're going to be female lions because I'm presuming your CRISPR is going to get out to the lions as well. So I'm going to just train only female lions in the assumption that there will be no male lions in the future. So obviously, circle of female lions.
Wouldn't they just eat each other? They're aggressive things.
Lions don't currently eat each other.
No, but they're aggressive.
Let's be realistic.
They're the ones that do the hunting. Anyway. And Christina.
I wish I knew more about Pokemon, that I could ask you like a really good question about Pokemon. To be like, well, how would it fare against Charmander? Maybe that's my question. Would you know?
How would it fare against who?
Charmander. He's the fire. I don't know.
Charmander, the fire Pokemon.
Fire-breathing dragon Pokemon.
Well, I'm assuming, Fergus, that Amphibot is actually fireproof anyway.
Yeah, he's fireproof and he's almost freeze-proof. So I'd say he'd be pretty good. He's got a few friends to call on as well, so he'd be okay.
Well, okay. Well, look, we've had 3 amazing scientific things. I hope that any parents here brought their children to learn some science so actually felt like it wasn't a disgraceful lie on this poster. But here we are. 3 eminent scientists who've given you the future of this field, and you have to now decide which is going to get your love, attention, and by the way, you're all going to buy shares in whatever's going to win. So that's your role in all this. So there's Lara, there's Fergus, and there's Christina. And you have to do your cheers to indicate your points for each of them. I'm going to write them at the bottom. It doesn't quite work, but let's go for Lara first. Now, who thinks that out of the 3 things you've heard, that Lara's Robo-Cow Super Susan is the finest of them all? After 3, 2, 1. Wait a minute. He's going for your sympathy vote, guys. The judges? You think it's a... Well, you can't. You've got to give them a score now. That's a 10, so I'm going to put it here as an audience vote of 10. Not bad. All right. Now, Fergus is a crazy, amazing frog. Go. Yeah! Look, you can go up to 10. You can go up to 10. It's fine. That was clearly more. You're giving the other one 10.
That's an 11. That's an 11.
We're going with 12.
There was a cheer from the front. Look at that. He totally wants one of these things. He's going to buy 7 million shares. What is it? 12? All right. Okay. Now, finally, Christina, let's think. You need 10 or more to make this, to win this. So, no pressure, audience. Do you want to kill all the men in the world? Do you want to all end up like those laughing women at the end? Laughing at something we can't see. Give us your score. Okay, one more time. After 3, 2, 1. It sounds to me like you like all of them in a crazy way. What's your score, guys?
I'm saying 7, she's saying 13.
Can we do it one more time? Just do exactly what you did. Don't change it. Go again. Go. Right, okay. That is not more than Fergus's 12.
No. Yeah, okay, we'll go with 10.
You lot love everything. It's a 10. So hang on. So wait a minute here. Wait a minute, audience. What? Are you revolting? Not in that way. You don't agree with the 10? You're going to go against the judges. Shout out the number you think in that case, in this totally scientific method.
15.
What?
Got relationship issues.
Wait. Go on. After 3, 2, 1, shout your number out.
11.
That was a mess. I think it isn't a 10.
I think I heard 8, 7.
Can we check the frequency of the voices? Is it all like 2, 2?
It's up to you two. It's up to you two. What do you think? Are we going to stick with the 10?
I think she gets bonus for using synthetic biology.
Actual synthetic biology.
And I think she loses a point for killing off the males in the human race. Yeah.
Okay, so she gets 10, which basically means that we have a draw between the ladies. Please stand up. Please stand up and take a bow, ladies, and thank you very much, both of you. I mean, I'm not sure how much of the synthetic biology was actually used today, but Lara, Fergus, and Christina, thank you so much for those amazing presentations, if nothing else. And how long did you spend on those? And also, Daisy and Claire, thank you very much for the judging. And you lot, thank you very much indeed. And you can buy shares in all of their various businesses for the next few minutes. Please go ahead. Thank you very much for coming. You're free to go home after you've given them all your money. All of them. Thank you very much indeed, guys.